Have you ever stopped and just really thought about this little device in your pocket? I mean, it's not just a phone, right? It's your map, it's a library with pretty much everything ever written, it's a TV, it's a direct line to almost anyone on the entire planet. It honestly feels like magic, but it's not. It's the product of decades of unbelievable innovation, and we're going to break down how it actually works.
So, yeah, how did we get here? How did this little piece of pocket-sized magic become our reality? Well, the answer isn't just one single invention. It's actually the story of two massive, parallel technological revolutions. So on one side, you've got the world of airwaves, radio towers, satellites, and this relentless quest to send information flying through the air. And on the other side, you have the world of wires, a huge physical mission to connect all the world's computers into one single global brain. And for the longest time, these two worlds, they had pretty much nothing to do with each other. Okay, first up, let's talk about that race for wireless speed. This is the story of making information fly, this constant, relentless push to get faster and more reliable, generation after generation. We've all heard the terms, right? 3G, 4G, 5G, it's just part of our vocabulary now. But what do they actually mean? Well, each G stands for a new generation of wireless technology. And as you can see here, each one basically unlocked something brand new, building on what came before it. Let's go back to the 80s. 1G was an absolute revolution. For the first time ever, you could make a phone call without being physically tied to a wall. I mean, look at these things. The phones were huge, the batteries were terrible, calls were full of static. But hey, it was wireless, and that was a total game changer.
Then the 90s rolled around, and 2G took everything digital. Now this was the crucial leap. Yeah, it gave us clearer calls, sure, but way more importantly, it meant we could finally send these tiny little packets of data over the airwaves. And with that, the simple text message, SMS, was born.
And then the 2000s brought us 3G, and this changed everything. For the very first time, data speeds were finally fast enough to set the internet free from its wires. This is what made mobile web browsing possible, video calls, the first real smartphones. To put it simply, 3G is what put the internet in our pockets. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, just look at that jump in speed. We went from 2.4 kilobits per second with 1G, which they compare to the height of a grasshopper, all the way up to 100,000 with 4G, the height of the Burj Khalifa. This absolutely insane exponential growth in wireless speed, that's the first half of our story. Okay, so that's the story of the airwaves. But remember, while all of that was happening, a totally different revolution was taking place on the ground. The mission to physically connect all of the world's computers with wires. And this idea was born way back in 1962, which is just wild to think about. A visionary named J.C.R. Licklider dreamed up this galactic network. I mean, it must have sounded like pure science fiction at the time, but it turned out to be a shockingly accurate prediction of the internet that we all use every single day. Licklider's idea finally started to become a reality with something called ARPANET. It began as a military project, with a really simple but brilliant goal. Build a communication network that could survive a major attack, with no central point of failure. And it did this using a genius technique called packet switching. Just think of it like this. Instead of sending a whole letter in one envelope, you tear it up into 100 little pieces, you mail each piece separately, and they all get put back together at the destination. That foundational concept still powers our internet today.
But okay, how do you get a million different kinds of computers, made by different companies in different decades, to all talk to each other? Well, you need a common language, and that language is called TCP/IP. You can think of it as the universal handshake, or maybe even better, the universal postal service for the entire internet. It doesn't care what's in the package or where it's going, it just provides the rules to make sure every single packet gets from any point A to any point B. It's what creates one single global network.
So we've built the hardware, this amazing global network of connected computers, but there was a huge problem. For a long time, actually using it was incredibly difficult, really something only experts could do. We needed a friendly interface, a welcoming front door for all that data.
And this brings up a super common point of confusion. We all use the words internet and web interchangeably, right? But are they actually the same thing? The short answer is no.
Nope, not at all. Think of it like this. The internet is the physical infrastructure. All the wires, the routers, the servers, it's the highway system. The World Wide Web is the traffic that travels on that highway, all the websites, pages, and documents. It's the collection of destinations you're actually trying to get to. Here's another way to look at it. The internet connects computers to other computers. The web, which is a service built on top of the internet, connects people to information. You absolutely cannot have the web without the internet, but they are two very distinct layers of this technological cake.
And we have one person to thank for this brilliant, user-friendly layer, Tim Berners-Lee. Back in 1991, he created this beautifully simple and elegant system. He invented the hyperlink, that magical ability to just click and jump between documents. He created the language to build web pages, which is HTML, and the very first web browser to look at them. He's the one who put a friendly face on all that data. Okay, so now we have our two separate stories: the race for ever faster wireless speed and the creation of a user-friendly global computer network. For decades, they ran on completely separate tracks. And then, in a moment that would literally change the world, they finally collided.
So let's look at the timeline. In the 80s, we get mobile voice. In 91, the web makes the internet accessible and friendly. But the crucial moment of convergence, the spark that lit the fuse, came in the early 2000s. That's when 3G networks finally became fast enough to deliver the full World Wide Web wirelessly to a device you could hold in your hand.
And that's the secret. That's the whole thing. The magic in your pocket exists at that perfect intersection of these two revolutions. It's the raw power of the wired internet, delivered through the total freedom of the wireless network. This incredible collision of airwaves and wires is what put a supercomputer in every single pocket.
So if that's how we got here, where on earth could we go next? Well, technology is definitely not stopping. We're already talking about 6G integrating with satellites for total global coverage, and even 7G, promising a truly seamless world with things like space roaming. The journey to connect everything and everyone is almost complete. The real question is, what are we going to do with it all?